Realistic but safe Mayday training. This is Billy Goldfeder answering some questions from you as part of our What's Your Problem series hosted by FireRescue1.com and Lexipol. And here's today's question. What is your approach to Mayday training? How realistic should it be? When does it cross the line and become dangerous? So my approach to Mayday training is it's absolutely essential. You can't be a RIT team, you can't function on the fire ground, and you can't operate unless you've got some training within the organization for when you have that inevitable Mayday, right? How realistic should it be? It should be just up to the point where you get ourselves hurt. I don't know how else to answer that. We don't want anybody getting hurt on the training ground. I think it can be very realistic. And when it crosses the line, it becomes dangerous. Well, if you follow NFPA standards, and look, people are going to say, NFPA, stop your whining. NFPA, every NFPA standard was developed over the body of a dead firefighter. So understand that, over the memory. They just don't pull these things out. Now, I'm not talking about some of the manufacturing stuff. I'm talking about fireground operations. These are seasoned fire veterans who sit on these committees who come up with solutions to our problems and provide standards on how we should operate. So take a look at the NFPA standards on training. As far as realistic, it should be absolutely realistic. It should be done in a smoky environment. Now, you don't necessarily have to have a fire. You can have simulated smoke or a dark room, right? It should involve everything that has been experienced in a real Mayday situation. Now, I urge you to check out the late Don Abbott's website, and that's Project Mayday. There's information on there, there's stats, there's details, all sorts of stuff. Also, you can check out Fire Rescue 1, firefighterclosecalls.com, or any of the excellent fire service websites that are out there. And I just want you to Google Mayday or search Mayday. And what you do is take some of those Maydays and apply them to your training. Also look at some NIOSH line of duty deaths that have occurred on the fire ground in a building involving a Mayday called by a firefighter. What happened? What would we do? I guess one thing I really want to emphasize to you is this. If you're going to do Mayday training, obviously I identified some standards. It needs to be as realistic as possible. We need to take a bit of a beating. It needs to be like working out. You need to feel like you've actually trained, right? Not get hurt, but we do need to push ourselves when we're doing a Mayday training. It shouldn't cross the line and become dangerous. Again, that's up to supervisors. That's up to leadership. I mean, they had a firefighter die in New York State at their training academy, and the facts on whatever happened there are not yet to come out. But we don't want to have a situation where we're doing training with firefighters and anybody gets themselves hurt or killed, God forbid. But it does need to be realistic. With good qualified training officers, it will be. So I hope that has helped. Again, the approach is absolutely you need to do Mayday training. How realistic should it be? I've covered that. And I want to add one last thing. Make sure that your Mayday training matches your first alarm assignment. So for example, if you run an automatic mutual aid program with 3 or 4, 5 or 10 different fire departments in your area, then you should be doing your Mayday training with them as well. If you are your only fire department, you operate by yourselves, then have whatever your first alarm assignment would be as a part of the Mayday training. So that's the realistic part I'm talking about. If you're going to do Mayday training with 2 or 3 people, that's not realistic, unless your first alarm assignment has 2 or 3 people on it. And then in that case, you probably need to reconsider whether you're an interior fire department or just an exterior fire department. Because if you're only getting 2 or 3 people on your run, there's no automatic mutual aid, and that's your response, then you are not capable of going inside and operating in a manner that's going to support the public and that's going to support your members. I hope that was helpful. The answer, absolutely do it. Do it smart, follow the procedures, get good instructors who are qualified to teach Mayday. And again, if they're not in your department, find an outside organization and ask the question, do you teach Mayday at your department? Always a big question that I think needs to be answered. and then move forward and start your training. Thanks so much for the question. Email me at FireRescue1 with any questions you have. I promise you I'll do my best to give you, well, you'll always get my opinion, but I'll also try and get you some facts in there as well. Thanks so much and take care.